Hello there. I hope you're doing great, having a fantastic week. Life is good here, just busy as ever. So I hope it's been good for you too. Hello, Dixie. Good to see you. Good morning to you. Dat boy, Loren, there's a whole debate going on in the vegan community about killing predator species. Okay. I don't know anything about that, and frankly, I'm not that interested. I mean, if you're talking about killing wild predators, like some vegans, I'm imagining some vegans think you should kill predators because they're killing animals. That's obviously idiotic. I hope it's obvious that that's idiotic. You know, our job isn't to try to change wild species. Their behavior is their innate behavior, and they're going to kill because cats, who I love and keep, are obligate carnivores and must eat meat. But I don't know anything about this, so I'm speculating as to what's going on, and frankly, not that interested. But okay, there you go. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Here we go. They say that they don't do a very good job of population control, that we should just kill them. Yeah, that's obviously idiotic. You know, how a vegan can say we should be killing anything makes no sense to me. Okay, we don't. It's not our job to do that. What we need to do is leave nature alone as much as possible. Stop paving the entire planet so that animals have the space to live their lives as they see fit. It's not our job to manage that. Okay, we don't need to. Things are going to happen the way they happen, and we don't need to try to manage that at all. Too much whole fruit sugar and teeth, dangerous? No, not at all. I just responded to a comment about this. I'm nearly 30 years now living on fruit. I haven't had a single cavity. My teeth are perfect. This is a non-issue. I have a video about, it's called Troubled Teeth, I think, and it gets into all the issues about teeth and dental care, etc. But there's no concern whatsoever. Done properly is not a problem. I have plastic in my teeth. Should I remove them? No, not necessarily. Plastic, there are composite materials, man-made materials, which are now used for fillings in place of the mercury amalgams, which were the only choice when I was a kid. And certainly those composite materials are generally better than the mercury amalgam, which is incredibly toxic. So give me just 1 second, please. Necesitamos poner algo, como le dije. Tiene que estar algo, ya. Los gatos van a caer y... Sí.
Sí, voy a ponerle, ¿puedo ahorita?
Estoy en línea. Puede estar a las 10.
Sí.
A las 10.
Las 10.
Ahorita no.
Está bien. A las 10 vengo entonces.
Sí.
Bueno.
Okay, sorry about that. Quick chat with the contractor here. All right, we completed a project, or nearly completed a project 2 weeks ago, just before we opened, and there's still some details that they're trying to get finished. Okay. Let's see, where were we? Oh, I've got to scroll up here. I see there's a couple of super chats. I will get to them in just a moment. Dat Boy says we can sterilize other populations and control their numbers ourselves. No, I don't think we have the right to sterilize anything. I don't think that's our job. I don't think we need to worry about that, okay? We don't need to manage nature. We need to get out of its way. And I'm clear about this. I mean, there are places we can live, and we should be leaving most of the planet alone. Now, here in Costa Rica, the government has set aside something like 60% or more of the landmass as preserve, and I'm working to create more of that. Right? We're looking to create a huge nature preserve close by here, because I think we can do a better job of using that resource in a way that actually benefits the planet by giving people amazing experiences with nature, so they shift their paradigm. They interact with nature in a different way than they currently do. That's the goal, and that's what we're up to, and I think we can make that happen. But there's already a lot of land here because the government here has got their head screwed on straight with regard to that. Okay? All right, I will come back. I see there's some other messages here, but I'm going to scroll down because we now have several super chats that I've ignored. Stephanie is here and says, good morning. I'm loving the health coach course. That's great, Stephanie. I'm so excited to hear that. I heard that you are cruising right through it. Did 30 lessons already. We just released this course. This is the second course. So Stephanie had already completed the Vibrant Health course because that's a prerequisite. You can't take the health coach course where we're going to be certifying health coaches. You can't take that course until you take the Vibrant Health course, because although you can become a health coach somewhere else in a few months, you're not actually going to know that much about health that way. And we want to make sure that people that we are putting out there as health coaches that we approve of actually understand how to create an amazing level of health. I mean, it's amazing to me how many teachers are out there who still have significant health challenges themselves. You know, people who are overweight and are like, you know, considered health gurus. Really? That doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, so I'm glad to hear that. That course is available if you want to do something amazing with your life. You know, health coaching is incredible. I've been doing it now for more than 30 years, and it's an amazing thing. I've literally helped tens of thousands of people. I mean, more than 13,000 clients one-on-one, not to mention all the people I've reached through YouTube, through live lectures and seminars, through podcasts, through radio and television shows, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So my recommendation, you know, if you're looking for something that's meaningful, a way to spend your time to help people, health coaching is an amazing thing. The first step is to take care of your own health, and our course allows you to do that. We are still offering a discount, by the way. Go to academyforvibrantliving.com and you will see all the information there. Okay, academyforvibrantliving.com. Thanks so much, Stephanie, for the contribution and your comments. Joel Marlborough says, good morning, Loren. Thank you, Joel, for your contribution, $9.99, and thank you so much for your comments. And we have someone called Angry Minpin, who's made a $50 contribution and says, hope you're doing great, and thank you for sharing your information. I resonate with a lot of things you share, and you've made a positive impact on, I'm sure, many lives. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind comments. I'm glad to be able to share everything I can. You know, while there are many, many people who disagree with me and think I'm crazy, bottom line is I haven't been sick a day in nearly 35 years, have helped thousands of other people create amazing levels of health, and guarantee that if you're willing to follow my crazy coaching, you're going to see the same kinds of results because it doesn't fail. You know, the simple bottom line is that our bodies are self-healing and self-cleansing, and we're intended to live at an incredible level of health and vitality, mental clarity, emotional balance, spiritual connection. All of this is available when we're willing to get out of the body's way and let it manifest these things. And I have figured out, I did this for myself many years ago, went from being very sick, I'm just going to close this door, went from being very sick to being very well, and you know, figured out a long time ago how to translate this for other people to follow, and it works over and over again. So thank you so much. I appreciate your kind comments. I'm glad you're here. For anyone here that, you know, that's ready to take their health to the highest level possible, frankly, you know, if you're already eating an optimal diet, that's fantastic. If you're not yet, it's something you can do. And again, there are literally, I've got hundreds of videos talking about this here on my YouTube channel. If you're on Instagram, you know, you might want to take a look over at the YouTube channel where there's so much information, 750 videos or something. But at the same time, I mean, the single most important, empowering thing you can do is to fast long enough and properly. because this gives the body the conditions to cleanse and heal. If you are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years on the planet and have made conventional choices, or even better than conventional choices for, for many years, but not optimal, getting the body cleaned out is a critically important step in the process and allows you to take your health to an amazing, amazing new level. All right. So thanks so much. Let me scroll down and pick up this. Joel's back. Joel's made a $4.99 contribution and said, what house are you and which is your favorite Harry Potter book or movie? What house are you? I'm sorry, I don't have any idea what you mean by that, Joel. What house am I? So yeah, feel free to clarify that. I'll look for your comments. I'm not sure what you mean though, but feel free to let me know. And I've read all the Harry Potter books, but honestly, I don't really remember which was which. I read most of them quite a long time ago now, shortly after they came out. I've enjoyed them all. I mean, I think, she is an amazing writer and did a fantastic job with those books. I didn't really expect to enjoy them, the first one, so much, but I did, and felt called to read the rest of them. So I've read all of them. That's normally not the genre that I would necessarily be reading, but great stuff. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll back up here for the time being. And let me say again, a warm welcome to those of you. If you are joining me here on Instagram, I'm glad to see you and hope you're having a fantastic week as well. So where I had made it down to here. Gitanjali says, Namaste, Loren. My 5th week comes to an end. Do we get to talk next Saturday, the 24th? I don't know. It doesn't quite work that way. What needs to happen is you email me and remind me that it's coming close to that time, and I'll look at my calendar and schedule something. It's not going to be exactly 6 weeks. It's going to be sometime around the 6-week point, depending on my schedule and how busy it is. It may need to be several days later than that. We'll have to take a look together. Okay, so it's entirely possible that I can see you that day, but I don't know at this point. It would be good to shoot me an email. All right, Dixie says, if you sleep only 5 hours, do you use an alarm? Do you feel sleepy after waking up or during the day? I do. Well, I set an alarm on my phone, which is always on airplane mode. And I set an alarm on that to wake me up 15 minutes before my first call in the morning. I'm usually up 30 to 45 minutes before that, because generally speaking, when the light comes in my window, I'm up. And that's a great thing, as long as I get to bed early enough. If I don't get to bed early enough, then I'm not going to get enough sleep, because I'm still going to wake up when the sun comes up. This is what we would do if we lived in nature. Imagine we lived in the forest and didn't have flashlights, right? Didn't have cell phones. We would probably be going to bed when it started to get dark. Before it got so dark we couldn't see where we were. We would find a comfortable place, that looked like it would be safe to rest for the night, and we would stay there until it got light out. And so, it's my body naturally wakes up as soon as the sun comes up. If I'm not getting enough sleep, I will feel tired sometimes. Yeah, I tend to have tons of energy, but I'm also aware that my body wants a little bit more sleep than I've been giving it, if that's what's going on. And it is often what's going on. So I'm not proud of it, but it is the truth. It is a fact. It's just been a very crazy time for me. All right. I see we have another super chat here from Angry Minpin, who says, first of all, has made another contribution of $5 and says, when it comes to washing fruits and vegetables, how do you suggest I wash my store-bought organic food? Currently use water with a little vinegar mix. Well, there's probably no need for vinegar. You can. It's okay. It dissipates. It doesn't affect the food. I wouldn't put it on anything that might absorb anything. But you don't typically want to wash things like strawberries anyway. You'd maybe take a wet towel or paper towel
and just gently wipe them off, pat them to take any dirt off of them. But other than that, I wouldn't want to be washing something that can be absorbing much water. So yeah, I mean, for me, the organic, I personally wouldn't worry about. Now, if it contains wax, if the outside is wax, as many things are, I would typically remove the outside. I wouldn't really necessarily want to be doing any, eating that. Even if I've attempted to remove it with something, I'm not so confident that those things are going to work, and I'd rather just not eat any wax. So I take it off. Other than that, I just rinse off organic food. And I eat a lot of stuff right out of the garden without doing anything, right? There's no reason. I'm not worried about it at all. I'm not concerned about it. With organic stuff, I'm really not concerned about it either, except that you don't really know who's handled if you're buying it at a market. A lot of people have handled it. Who knows where their hands have been? I'm not that concerned about it, but I understand some people are going to want to wash their food. I would just rinse it with water, typically. That's what I would do. Okay. Alexis DePronto has made a €5.49 contribution. So, Loren, what's your opinion on homeopathy and reflexology? So, first of all, let me define what these things are in case anyone here isn't aware of them. Homeopathy is, the slogan, the idea is that like cures like. And so with homeopathy, you take remedies which are made by taking a substance which creates a symptom which is similar or the same as the symptom you're experiencing. But the remedy uses a tiny amount of the substance, and then the substance is diluted dramatically to the point, and then percussed, it's like shaken vigorously, to the point that there's none of the original material left. Theoretically, it's just the energetic signature of that substance. And again, they say like cures like. So if you have a cough, you would take something that would normally create that symptom. And I'm not saying you would just take anything. I'm saying there are specific remedies that exist. Right? There's this whole, I don't know if we can actually call it a science, but some would say the science of homeopathy. And again, I don't mean to deride it. I just don't know as much about it. To me, it always comes back to the same thing. Only the body can heal the body. So if you're taking something, are you doing anything more than suppressing symptoms? I don't know. Now, I will tell you, again, full disclosure, I've tried homeopathic remedies 35 years ago when I was dealing with issues still, when I hadn't yet healed my body, and did not find any relief with homeopathic remedies. Some people find they work for them. Some people find they don't. I mean, I'm sure, that even if there's something to it, you're probably going to get better results by using homeopathic remedies created for you by a homeopath. That is, they're fresh and, et cetera. Today, you walk into an organic market or a pharmacy, a natural pharmacy, and you buy a remedy that was pre-made, pre-bottled for anyone with a similar issue. But it may well be that that's going to be energetically far less active than something that's actually made on the spot. Maybe it has a different effect. I don't know. I didn't ever find it to be particularly useful. One of the things I can say about homeopathy is because the way the remedies contain none of the original toxic substance, but just this energetic signature, they're probably some of the safest things that you can take, right? They're least likely to be able to harm you. So if you wanted to take something, that's probably not a bad choice. Okay. Reflexology, I can demonstrate a little bit. Reflexology, let's see if I can show you. Well, it's a little hard to see that one. Probably easier if I go to the other side. So reflexology is based on the idea that there is a map of the body on the bottom of the foot, and every part of the foot corresponds to some part of the body, essentially laid out like the body. So again, I'm not an expert. If I remember correctly, your head is up here, your digestive tract is roughly in the middle, and reflexology is about putting significant pressure on the bottom of the foot, and by working those areas, if I have a digestive tract problem, if I do this with significant pressure, I'm putting a lot of pressure on it now, it would hurt. Mine feels perfectly fine. It doesn't feel uncomfortable at all, no matter how much pressure I use. But if you have an issue where, let's say, your liver and you press on that spot, wherever that is, I don't know, it's going to be painful. But if you work it, theoretically, the idea is that you can heal the organ. So, again, I mean, I don't really understand this. Let me start with that. Let me say that I do believe there's a map of the body on the bottom of the foot. There is on the hand, there is on the earlobe, there is in the iris of the eye, and there may be others as well. I mean, acupuncture and acupressure are based on the idea that there is these energy meridians that you can affect an organ by affecting a certain point or points on the body, which aren't at the organ, but somewhere else, because everything is directly connected. And so, now this works to some degree. The question is, what is it actually doing? Is it working because you are simply impacting the amount of energy that goes there? I mean, again, for me, clear, like foundational point, the body heals the body. So I'm not healing the body by pushing on my foot, but maybe if I'm massaging the right point on the bottom of my foot, I am affecting the amount of energy that's going to the organ in need, and therefore helping my body heal it by helping to direct it. Again, I don't really understand this, but I know people who claim to see benefit in using it. So I'm not going to argue with that. I don't know. Personally, for me, what's clear is that if I get my body clean with fasting and then make optimal choices, I don't really have to do anything else. Like, I don't need to massage the bottom of my foot. I don't need acupressure or acupuncture because my body works really, really well. Now, that doesn't mean I don't get injured. I do get injured, and you probably know about it because it's already been a couple weeks. I injured tendons here, it turns out, in my wrist, and playing frisbee, falling funny on the beach, trying to get a wayward shot. And I mean, I can't tell how many times I've landed on the beach playing frisbee. It's one of my favorite things to do. This never happened. Who knows? It was just a funny position. Because there's relatively little vascularity to the tendons, there's not much blood flow. These tendons can be a little slow to heal. And I'm still feeling now, when it happened, I could barely move my hand. I've got full range of motion. And if I do certain things, I still feel it. Now, if someone said to me, look, if you push on, you massage a certain point on the foot, it's going to heal faster. Well, there'd be no harm in trying that. I mean, I'm not going to hurt anything by doing that. I'm not convinced it will help. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to hurt in any way. So that's what I can tell you. I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more. I don't really know so much about either of these practices, but perhaps. Okay. Brenda is in the house and has made a $13.99 contribution, Canadian contribution. Thank you so much, Brenda. Brenda says, I was recently at my dental hygienist and she saw that there was improvements. She was interested about my fast and was curious about the pH of the water I was drinking. So there were questions earlier. I'm not sure if you're still here. Someone on Instagram had asked a question about teeth. Brenda has been living on a fruit-based diet for many years now, has fasted with me a couple of times, including recently back in January, and is saying that she's now seeing improvements to her teeth as a result of the fast. The diet hasn't changed, or hasn't changed significantly. I suppose it's always evolving or shifting a little bit from one moment to the next, perhaps. But it's basically been the same now for many years. Maybe there have been some periods that weren't perfect. So her dental hygienist is now curious about fasting because she can see the evidence of the improvements that occur with fasting. By the way, one of the interesting things that happens when people fast is their teeth tend to get whiter by the end of the fast. And this is not doing anything. I mean, it's not brushing them. It's not coloring them, whitening them. It's just, this is something the body tends to happen while people fast. It depends on the situation. I had an older gentleman with fairly yellow teeth ask me the other day, are my teeth whiter? And I said,
I don't see any improvement at this point. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. It just may take longer, and it might not happen. It may depend. I mean, like everything else, I expect it's going to depend on where each person's body is, right? It's going to be different for each person. It's not going to be the same. Each person's body is going to respond differently, depending on what else is going on. Okay, so thank you so much, Brenda. I appreciate that. I'm going to scroll back up here a little bit towards the top and see if I can figure out where we left off earlier. Okay, so Gitanjali, I see a second message here. I guess you'd put that up before I responded to your first one, and my response, is still to email me. I'm not going to remember here. I'm not in my calendar right now. This is something that needs to happen separately. Okay, Eric is here and says, good morning. If the spread is consistently much wider than your target amount during normal living, should we drink less water? If your spread is consistently wider than your target amount during normal living, should we drink less water? No, this isn't about needing to drink less water. Your spread theoretically should never be able to be higher than is optimal, because if it is, it suggests, among other things, that what it tells us is that there's an issue that needs to be resolved. And this usually means fasting long enough and properly. But it's not about needing less water. It's about resolving an issue in the body, because that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't be possible. I mean, what should happen is you have all the blood you need, you pee off any additional water. Okay, but it's not because you're drinking too much. Your body probably needs that. We actually will see lower pulses with spreads. When someone's spread is higher than optimal, it's because it needs to be. And if you're not aware of what we're talking about, when I say spread, I'm talking about what medicine calls pulse pressure. I see no point in using 3 syllables when one will suffice. But it's the difference between systolic and diastolic pressure. So at every systolic pressure, I would say there is a very specific small range that the spread, that difference should be. In other words, at 120, I believe your diastolic pressure should be 70. That's a 50-point spread. Medicine says 40, but the average person's dehydrated. And if they were better hydrated, the spread would be higher, right? So it should be 50. If it's 60, then it suggests there's some inefficiency in the body, something the body isn't able to do that it needs to be doing. And this isn't about drinking less water. This is about resolving the underlying issue. Okay, the goal is always to resolve underlying issues. Zolt is here and says, hi, Loren, happy Friday, and hope that you're doing well. I am indeed. Any news about Las Cascadas in the community? Could you please say a few words, maybe? Thank you, and wish you a nice weekend. Yep, I see Stephanie had also asked about updates on Las Cascadas. There aren't any significant updates at this point. We are back in a mode of looking to raise some capital. And what I'm hoping to do is to schedule a webinar talking about Las Cascadas sometime soon. Because you've mentioned it here, what's occurred to me increasingly, and I'm hearing from many people now who are saying, I think I need to get the heck out of here, out of the US, out of Europe, as soon as possible. Because it's crazy. I mean, once again, there are places where they're locking down, right? And this, it should be increasingly obvious as to what's really going on here. Okay, unfortunately, I can't get into this for various reasons, but it should be increasingly obvious as to what's truly going on and what this really is that we're dealing with. It's not what they're telling you, that's for sure. So, a lot of people are thinking, maybe I need to get out sooner than later. And what we're doing is looking to raise the capital we did, as most of you know, it was just 2 months ago. A week ago today, 2 months ago, we closed on the big piece of property with the 2 big waterfalls. That cleaned us out. I mean, that was a $500,000 investment. And so right now we're, back to basically to just treading water, paying our bills, looking to raise some additional funding. And if we can successfully raise funding,
we can continue to move the project forward. We are still waiting for the government. I mean, one of the things that we are hoping to be able to do is to build on our current site, on our existing site, where we have 37 acres, 15 hectares, and 2 hectares, which is 5 acres, on the other side of a pretty high hill, which means we can build there without impacting what's happening here. It's on the other side of the hill, and it's flat level. We could build a little community there of 20 or more cottages temporarily. In order for that to happen, we need to regain. When we bought the farm next door, we theoretically were buying something with titled water. Normally, the government owns all the water in Costa Rica, but this woman, the owner of the property that we bought, had obtained many years earlier the title to the water. That means it's her water, and she can do what she wants with it, and doesn't have to answer to the government. And with sufficient water, you can pretty much build what you want. So if we turns out she had lapsed in a payment. We didn't know it, but we didn't. We're still now working on getting that back. We should succeed. It's just a question of when. If we can get this back, we actually have now to wait until Monday to get something. We need a document from a bank that tells us they can't get it to us until Monday at the earliest. If we can get that done, then we hopefully fairly quickly, although nothing happens quickly here, but hopefully fairly quickly, we should be able to get that tidal water again. Once we have tidal water, we can build. And what that means is we can start to create a temporary community here, which we would do with wooden buildings. We would bolt together. We would build panels, bolt them together. I mean, they can be beautiful buildings, but they wouldn't be your permanent home. It would be something you could live comfortably in for however long you needed to. I mean, there's no reason they can't be very comfortable. Most of our structures here are very simple and yet very comfortable. Most of our living area is actually outside. It's just a covered patio. So if we can get approval to do that, we could theoretically start building almost any time. Again, it's just about raising some capital to make that happen. And so we are working in that regard. More than that at this point, there isn't much more to say. So I know there are several of you here interested, and I'll be happy to talk with each of you, anyone that needs to have that conversation. Eric, I know you and I need to get together at some point, so maybe we can make that happen sometime soon. All right, let's see. Boris says, hi, Loren, evolution or creation? My guess is evolution, but I don't really know. What actually happened? I don't know. That boy says, interesting. How do you think we can live side by side with animals when predators exist and whatnot? Should we just let them kill other animals while we watch? It's very perplexing to me. Yeah, exactly. We should extricate ourselves from the business of nature and let it do what it does. Animals kill animals. I mean, there are animals that are predators and there are animals that are not. If we killed all the predators, then we would wind up having to, the other animals would wind up growing out of control. There'd be nothing to manage that. It's, the system managed itself perfectly well until we showed up and got involved. And I think we should extricate ourselves, remove ourselves from the equation as much as possible. Here, we don't kill anything. We live side by side with the animals in nature. It's not a problem. Are there animals that could hurt us? Yeah, it's possible. But it's not really a big deal. I mean, it's not something we run into on a regular basis, or almost ever, in fact. So it's not really something we have to worry about. All we really need to do is to mind our own business and take care of ourselves. And I think that's plenty. Maria says, hello, Loren. Thank you. You're awesome. Thank you so much. It's very kind. Judy Osborne is here. Good morning, Loren. Great to see you. It's good to see you too. I'm glad you're here. Stephanie is asking for the update, which I've just provided. Nustuki, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. I apologize. It says, hi, I believe in water fasting deeply. I'll be coming to your center. Fantastic. We'll be very happy to see you here. Keep in mind a few things. One, we tend to operate at full or close to full occupancy, so booking in advance makes sense. 2, we operate in 10-week sessions. Our current session ends on the 12th of June. We do still have some space available for the last part of the session. Our next session after that opens on the 17th of July. We book our guests from Saturday to Saturday in 1-week increments. And you do need to decide how long a stay, and if you can complete a registration form, and I will be glad to tell you what I think would be ideal for you, appropriate for you, given your situation. Having done this now for 24 plus years, I'm usually pretty good at judging what people need if they give me enough information. All right. Mark says astrology, probably. I don't know, Mark, if you're referring to the what house I am. Again, I don't know anything about houses. You know, my sun sign is Taurus. My birthday is coming up in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from Sunday, I will turn 60. But that's all I know about that. All right. I don't like anyone whose last name is Police. Her name is Police. There's 2 L's. It's Italian, she says. Okay. Rachel, hello there. Good to see you, Rachel. All right. So we've gone past that. Gitanjali. Okay, good. Thank you, Gitanjali. Stephanie, 2 meanings. It means thumb or inch in English. Oh, interesting. Okay, I had no idea. David Balda. Hello, David. I remember you. I fasted and are bad for the first month after feeding. Would I still see benefits once I start eating fruits again? Oh, and ate bad. I'm like, what are you talking about? Are bad? Okay, I fasted and ate badly for the first month after completing the feeding process. So left here, made poor choices. Will I still benefit from eating a fruit-based diet, eating optimally? Yes, absolutely, David. There's no question about it. You eliminated, I don't recall how old you are, I'm guessing 25, 26, 28, something like that. You eliminated many, years, a couple decades and a half at least worth of old garbage. You haven't put all that back in the months since you left here. So even though it would have been better had you made optimal choices, you can still benefit from doing so. And even if you'd made perfect choices, you always would have benefited from fasting again. Now you've made that even more clear that you would benefit from fasting again, right? Because your choices weren't perfect. Fasting again will certainly help you clean out the garbage that you've put back in. Okay, so yes, you'll definitely see benefits, no question about it. All right, Mihai has made a €10 contribution. Thank you so much, and has said, hi, Loren, I'm eating a raw food diet for 6 months. 1 month ago, my tongue started to be white. What can cause that? That was caused by the fact that it took you 6 months to begin rehydrating the old hard material sitting in your intestines. Okay, this is why most people feel amazing for the first 4 to 6 weeks, sometimes 6 months, and then sometimes not so good. It's because they start rehydrating and reabsorbing from the toxic stuff sitting in the intestine. And that's what's going on. That's what's happening here. So yeah, ideally, what you would do would be to fast when you're able to give your body the chance to really clean out all the garbage. And then you will feel like you're in a new, much younger, much more efficient, much better functioning, much more vibrant body than you are now. But that's what's going on. This is just your body rehydrating old material and you reabsorbing a little bit of it because you're rehydrating it. So it's what happens. It's nothing to worry about. It can last for a long time until you fast properly and long enough. Okay. Alexis has made another $5.49 contribution. Thank you, Alexis, and says, the body able to regenerate or repair worn enamel. Scientists are working on it. Some toothpaste promise results. Your opinion? Well, not only do we know for a fact that the body can regenerate enamel, but again, we've had these questions and comments about teeth. Brenda said her teeth, her dental hygienist, is now curious about fasting because she's saw these incredible, well, not incredible, she didn't say that, but these improvements as a result of fasting. What's actually clear, there was a study published some, I want to guess 20 years ago now, that said that eating an orange or an apple is more than 3 times as effective as brushing your teeth. Why? How does that work? Well, it's very simple. When you eat fruit, most fruit contains acid. Oranges contain a lot. Apples are subacid and contain less. It's lower in acid, but still contain acid. Most fruits are subacid. There are very few fruits that are sweet. Most melons contain some acid. Some, like watermelon, very, very little, but most contain some. And all fruits that are acid or subacid contain acid. And when you eat the acid fruit, what happens is it takes a microscopically thin layer of enamel off of your teeth. Now, where does the plaque live? On the surface of your teeth. That's what gets eliminated by eating fruit. Your body then replaces that enamel over the next 3 or 4 hours, which is why you do not want to graze all day long. If you're eating all day long, have an apple now and I'll have an orange in an hour and I'll have something else an hour after that, what happens is you're taking the enamel off. You never give it enough time to rebuild and your teeth wear down. Okay. But if you do what I do, I eat 2 meals a day now for 28 years, usually within a 4-hour. And that means that I don't eat again for several hours. My body has a chance to regenerate the enamel that's been lost, the microscopically thin layer, but it's always replacing the enamel. We already know that this happens, right? I said a little while ago that most people's teeth becomes whiter when we fast. Okay, doing nothing else, just fasting. Okay, this probably isn't fasting long enough. Again, our average client fast here is 26 days, so we don't have a lot of experience with very short fasts. Our clients fast 21 to 30 days, most of them, and some much longer than that. In this session, so far, we currently have, let's say, 40 people either here or registered to be here who are all here for 4 weeks or more, 21 days fasting or longer. Okay, that's every one of them. That's typical. I mean, sometimes we'll have 1 or 2 people here for a shorter fast than that, but it's pretty rare. In fact, what's happening now is we have people that are asking about extending their already longish fasts to be even longer. Okay, so we have a guy that just extended from 26 to 30 days because he's like he's seeing amazing benefit and wants more benefit. Okay, we see very few people doing shorter fasts. So with longer fasts, one of the things I'm sure is happening is your body is replacing the enamel and taking it to a much higher level. And this is why, someone asked me today on one of my YouTube videos, there was a comment about, when's the last time I went to a dentist? Well, it was about 20 years ago. Oh, but you've been eating a raw vegan diet. Did you have a problem? No, I had no problems. I went to see a dentist because I was looking at having the mercury amalgams removed from my teeth, but I had no issues. I've had no cavities in nearly 30 years living on a fruit-based diet. Okay, done properly, there's no reason to ever have any issues. Okay, this is our natural diet, and every animal has a natural diet. When it eats the natural diet, guess what? Every aspect of its health, including its teeth, is as healthy as possible. Okay, that's just the way it is. I hope that makes sense because to me it seems kind of obvious. You don't need special toothpaste. The best way is to eat fruit and then give your body a break of 4 hours or so between meals, and then B, don't overeat. Don't eat a bunch of crap. Eat fresh, whole, juicy, ripe fruits primarily. Simple green salads. Get sunlight. Get plenty of sleep. Don't brush your teeth after you eat. Only before you eat, and never after you eat fruit. And don't graze. And you're going to see evidence that your enamel's replacing itself now, and with enough time, with a long enough fast, you would see a significant improvement in your teeth as a result of fasting. Almost everyone does. Okay, I hope that's helpful to you. Let me see here. Where are we? Let me back up. Okay, I think we made it down to, there we go. There's David, we're already there. Who's already there? Okay, Zoltaire says, hi, Loren. I asked you before if I swallow runny mucus during a water fast, is the process still happening? Is it still a go? You responded, yes, it is. I'm just curious how it's still happening. I don't understand your question. It's happening because mucus isn't food. Okay, you're not swallowing food, you're swallowing mucus. Now, I wouldn't encourage you, as I told you before, don't do that. Spit it out, much better.
But when you're asleep, you're swallowing mucus. It's okay. It doesn't end your fast. It's perfectly fine. Okay, there's no reason it would end your fast. It's not food. It's not food. So you don't have to worry about that. Okay. Maria says, hello, Loren. When I wear a mask, my nose starts to run. I don't know why. Probably because of the toxic chemicals in the mask. Masks like these, this coating here is made with, this blue coating is made with toxic chemicals. Those would be better avoided, right? I keep this, I have one of these, I actually sometimes forget, but it should be in my pocket so that if the health department shows up, before we let them in, we let everyone know they're here and everyone has to put a mask on. And usually they're here for 5 or 10 minutes. And what I'll often do is excuse myself and come in here and close the door and, try to take my mask off, or people can go outside, by themselves. It's in fact, there's a question, a friend and MD tells me that the statute actually says that you only have to wear a mask when you're in an enclosed place. And our living area is open on 2 sides. It is not enclosed. It is technically outdoors. And so, the question is, can they force us to wear masks in that space? Now, to avoid problems, we're asking everyone, put the mask on when they show up, because we don't want to be shut down, which is what they've promised to do if we don't wear them. But the masks are toxic and you can't breathe very well. And so you're creating issues by wearing one, and you should avoid wearing them because there's absolutely no benefit to wearing a mask anyway. They don't do a single thing for you. Okay. But, all right, let's see. Paolo says, I think you're too obsessed with health. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion. In the meantime, I enjoy having a body that functions virtually perfectly, as better now than it did when I was 18, not having been sick a single day in 33 plus years, feeling and functioning incredibly well all the time with perfect vision, etc. I'm not obsessed with health at all. I just choose to make choices that support my health rather than harming myself. Okay, because most people eat and drink things that make them sick and make them feel bad, and I'm not interested in doing that. But there's not an obsession. I believe there's nothing more important than our health, and I take care of mine, and I enjoy life very much. It's not like I'm suffering because I'm not willing to eat all the crap that people eat. I'm not suffering at all. I feel amazingly well. All right, looks like we have a problem scrolling down. Okay, we have a couple more super chats here. So, okay, here we go. So Harold Alfonso has made a Canadian 149 contribution. Thank you so much, Harold. I appreciate that very much. And Mark Tassi has made a $5 contribution and says, any so-called mask-wearing mandates are entirely legal and I won't wear one at all. Yep, Mark, I completely appreciate your take on that. That makes perfect sense to me. If you were in my position where you had everything you owned tied up in one place, which depends on clients, the last thing we need to do is have the health department trying to shut us down. Even if they're wrong, we have to now fight them and pay lawyers. And you know what? It's a lot easier to put a mask on for 5 minutes and have them be okay and go away as quickly as possible. And so that's what I do. I agree with you. And by the way, there was now a second victory, legal victory, two days ago, I think, in Vienna, Austria, where it was well, that was actually about the PCR. But anyway, there's 2 victories now, and hopefully, soon there will continue to be more victories demonstrating that these things are useless and harmful, and maybe we'll have, maybe things will shift and we won't be pushed to do them anymore. All right. So I am Santiago says, keep doing your thing, ignore his opinion. There's nothing greater than health. People value money more than their health. I agree with you completely. Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to keep doing my thing. I'm not really concerned what someone thinks. It's perfectly fine. I just think it's funny that someone thinks that making intelligent choices so that we feel and function amazingly well with incredible energy and vitality is in some way being obsessed. that's absurd. But anyway, you're entitled to your opinion. Always longing says my roommate just had multiple brain bleeds after getting the vaccine. She's vegan but very overweight. I so wish her well. I love what you're teaching. Thank you so much. I appreciate your kind comments. I'm so sorry that your roommate has suffered this way. It is unfortunate. There are probably going to be many more people suffering as a result of this nonsense. Okay, let's see. Alexis has made a €10.99 contribution. Says, are 3-day water fasts useful, or is it too short to see benefits? I do think it's a welcome break anyway, and I wish to start with this. Some studies claim it can reboot the immune system. Your point. Well, so first of all, the studies I'm familiar with that say it reboots your immune system. I mean, what exactly that means, I'm not sure. If it claims to take your body's immune function to the highest level possible, it's an absurd joke. And it was published by someone who's never looked at fasts longer than 3 days and who claims that eating up to 500 calories a day gives you the same benefits as fasting. Again, this is absurd nonsense. And it's published by statements made by someone who has a commercial program. He now sells a program where you can buy the 500 calories a day and they send it to you. That's not even real food. No, thank you. There's no chance that it's anywhere close because there's a whole cascade of beneficial physiological benefits, that occur only in the absence of calories or added nutrients. So we can't add a single thing to the water. I know there's a lot of people, people tell me, you have to consume, you have to put salt in your water. Really, because after 24 years, we've never put salt in the water. We fasted many thousands of people for as long as 4.5 months on only water. Okay, you do not need to put anything in the water. And again, everyone has an opinion. It's just a lot of people's opinions are completely unsupported by experience or facts. We don't need to add anything to the water. When we do add, we're not getting nearly the same benefits because we're not actually fasting, which is why people say, oh, but it's much easier if you add salt. Yes, of course it is, because you're not fasting, okay? It's going to be much easier because you're not actually in the process. All right, I'm observing the experience. He's just joined. Okay. Hello, Tina. Good to see you. I just noticed you were here. Because I'm looking at my big desktop computer screen and my little tiny phone screen, I've got the smallest phone that I can get. It's difficult for me to actually see what's on the phone most of the time. I noticed we are about 5 minutes away from wrapping up here. All right, Rachel is back. And so I don't think I answered Alexis's question. So 3-day fasts. Yeah, I mean, they're not going to, can they help? Sure they can. They're going to help those people who are in the worst shape and who are making poor choices. So it's a very superficial level cleanse. It takes 10 to 11 days to get to the deepest part of the process, which is why fasting 21 days isn't twice as beneficial as fasting 10 or 11. It might be 4 or 5 times as beneficial as fasting 10 or 11 days. That's why hardly anyone fasts less than 21 days here, because it just doesn't make that much sense. If you can take 4 weeks off, it's life-changing. If you can do, if you do 3 days, okay, I mean, now personally, eating optimally, I recently did a 3-day fast, 4-day fast because of my wrist. And it would have been longer, but I had a lot of things I needed to do, including running around in my manual transmission car, running errands before we opened 2 weeks ago. And it meant it was tweaking my wrist because doing anything hurt. So the 3-day fast doesn't do anything for me. I mean, if your body's clean, how much cleansing are you going to do? Okay, how much healing are you going to do in 3 days? Is it better than nothing? Maybe. It depends on what's going on. I mean, with hypertension, we have 100% success, but we need 21 days, not 3 days. So a very superficial, short fast might be beneficial for someone who's never fasted before. But honestly, Alexis, the thing to do
would be to have me guide you through a fast, take the time off, and commit to 21 days. I'll guarantee you in writing that if you can follow my simple guidance, you will complete the process much younger physiologically, feeling and functioning much better than you have in many years, maybe ever. With 3 days, you might see some benefit, but it's nothing very significant. Okay. Although again, the more toxic you are, the more benefit, the worse your diet is, the more benefit you get by not eating for 3 days. Okay. So for me, these very short fasts occur because my body's calling for them. I injure myself, I fast for a few days, I feel better in a few days, and I'm done because I've healed. That's what usually happens. This time was a little different. I stopped because I had too many things I needed to do before we opened, and needed to be on the go all day, all the time, several days in a row. And that was, I realized, okay, it's probably better if I ended here. Probably would have healed faster had I been able to keep going, but I wasn't in a position at that moment to be able to do that with all the commitments I already had. Okay. In Vedic astrology, I'm an Aries. Okay. There you go. I don't know. Rachel says, just a little donation to show support. Thanks and blessings. Rachel's donated another £5, English pounds. Thank you so much, Rachel. I really, really appreciate that. And look forward to seeing you again very soon. We have another call coming up. Okay. So I'll actually say goodbye because it's 10 o'clock now. And that means there's a group of people that are going to be expecting my call in the next 60 seconds or so. So I may be a minute or two late, but I won't belabor it beyond that. Joel's back, 199. House. We're back to Harry Potter. House, Slytherin, Gryffindor. Which do you like? I can't say. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not that into Harry Potter that I can really tell you that. I enjoy it as a bystander more than a participant, but I'm glad it sounds like you really, really enjoyed them and resonated with them. Maybe a little more than I did. I enjoyed them, but again, I didn't identify with the house. I don't read that kind of literature that way where I'm putting myself into it so much, but thank you. All right, everybody, it is time for me to get going. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. What does Loren binge on? He does not talk about. Durian when I can get it. And well, other than that, I mean, my fruit meals are pretty large, but that's about it. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Again, I'm hoping that we can get a webinar on Las Cascadas organized sometime soon. If that's the case, I'll be letting everybody know, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. But in the meantime, red bananas, absolutely. If I've got red bananas, we just had a big bunch of red bananas. I literally ate them every day for breakfast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon until they were gone. I mean, I didn't really eat like 50 at a time. I ate, what felt like an appropriate quantity for me, but it's not really binging. But I love them, and I ate them every single day, literally every single day for 5 days, I think, until they were gone. As they ripened, I ate them every day. That's how much I love them. Now, if I had them all the time, maybe it'd be different. They grow very slowly, so I don't get a chance to eat them all the time. Anyway, take care, folks. Appreciate being here with you. Thanks, everybody, for your support and for being here. If you like this, thumbs up it, please. Give it a like. Give it a share on your channels, anywhere you like to. Let's get the word out there. There's so many people that don't understand so many basic things about how to be as healthy as possible. So, folks, I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.